Now, could I even be regarded as an amazing sewing content creator if I did not just finish making an item and then jump right here on the channel to share it with you guys? Absolutely not. Now, if you're curious to see what I have to say about this make right here, then please keep on watching. Hey Stitchers, your girl Kris here. Welcome back to the channel on social, where it is totally cool to obsess with everything sewing. Now you guys, I am stoked. And that is because I am here to report to you today on this make. And this make is a big make, you guys. It is my very first pick from my So Lucky Jar 2025. Now, if you are completely lost, you have no idea what I'm talking about, then be sure to go ahead over to this video right here and get all of the tea. The short version is my girl Diana of 26 by Diana over on Instagram is hosting the So Lucky Jar Sewing Challenge for 2025. Now, the purpose of the challenge is to fill a jar with all of the pattern numbers or names that you really want to make, but have not, for whatever reason. And then, as often as you would like, you're supposed to handpick a pattern from your cookie jar. Now, I went ahead and designed my cookie jar. Let me just grab it so I can show you what mine looks like. Right, so this is my jar, and I started with 24 patterns in my jar. I did do all of these decorations on it because I'm a visual person and I like to look at pretty things. And maybe that is why I have so many nice pieces of fabric in my stash. They're just so gorgeous to look at. So I went ahead and decorated it, and I did pull my very first pick here on the channel. Now, if you missed that video, run on over to this video right here so that you can see what went down when I pulled my very first pick from my So Lucky Jar. Now, the pattern that I ended up with was Simplicity 8014. I love this pattern. Now, I decided for my jar to put a mixture of patterns I had made before and completely new to me patterns. And I also got my family involved and allowed my husband and my daughter to choose 4 and 3 patterns respectively. Why did I do that? I have since questioned my reasoning, but it is already done. Luckily, I was able to choose one of the patterns that I myself put in the jar as my first pick. So I feel like I hit the ground running. And as I said, I made Simplicity 8014 twice already, way back in 2020. And I always meant to revisit the pattern because I loved it. And I just simply have not gotten around to it until now. Now, the 8014 that I made the first time, I'll see if I can find any pictures. If I can, I'll put them on screen. The first one I hacked it, it had a double collar, an under collar in purple, and then the upper collar was in the same white and purple and mustard color poplin fabric that I had gotten from Mood. The second time I made this dress pattern, I hacked it again. This time I hacked the sleeves and I put some grommets in the sleeves, and they sort of laced up in the same way that you would do up a corset or a pair of sneakers. And that was dope, you guys. And I made that one in an animal print fabric. This was before I had my colors done, so it was like a traditional animal print fabric with oranges and blacks and browns. It was cute. I loved it. I don't even know if I have that dress since. I probably got rid of it because it's not in my color scheme, but whoever ended up with that dress has hit the jackpot because it was gorgeous. So this time I made this pattern again, and I have made the very same view that I made the 2 times before, but I have not hacked this pattern. I have made fit adjustments to this pattern, but I haven't hacked it in its traditional sense. I haven't changed the shape of it. I have lengthened my hemline a touch, and I also use the long sleeve to make my short sleeves, even though the pattern has a short sleeve pattern in it. I'll explain why in a minute. But other than that, this pattern and this iteration is in its dress form. So let me just step back to show you guys what this dress looks like. Please forgive all of the markings that you can see on my fabric. As I said, it has gone from under my presser foot onto my body because I was just too excited to share with you make number 1 for So Lucky Jar 2025. So let me just shimmy on back. Now you probably can't see. Can you see the length of it? it hits just below my knee. And typically, I like my dresses to be shorter, but I'm having a thing this year. I'm trying to do some longer lengths to see if it makes me look and feel more ladylike. In the past, I've just felt frumpy, but I'm working on that, you guys. I'm elevating my style this year. Now, because this is a fully buttoned front, it means that I can technically unbutton it as high as I want, and then I can have my leg moment. You see that? Whoo! Leg moment. But we'll see. We shall see. Now, when I step back, you probably noticed that there is some buckling down my center front. I have misplaced some of my buttons. I do not know how. I use my expandable seam gauge. You can find it in my Amazon store down below. And usually that's very precise. I use it for my buttonholes and I nailed those. And I just use them on the opposite side for my buttons, but clearly something was wrong with the spacing because my button placket is not sitting flush. Now that's an easy fix. It is going to require me to grab my unpicker and then to hand sew back on, I think, 12 buttons, which I'm not looking forward to. And I should have taken the time in the first place to make sure that they were even. But I don't know, the excitement, you guys, the excitement. So I'm going to have to go ahead and do that. So ignore the fact that my button placket doesn't sit flush. Hopefully by the time this video is produced, I would have taken some official photos and inserted a couple right here for your viewing pleasure and have fixed the placket issue. It's not a big deal because I know it's something that's easily fixable. Aside from that, the rest of this dress is impeccably sewn, if I do say so myself. And it has pockets, you guys. I was able to insert pockets into this dress, and I tell you, it was a squeeze to get all of the pieces cut out because I only had 2 yards of this fabric. And the reason I had 2 yards was because it was gifted to me by a friend of my dad's for Christmas. And I loved it. I love this printed linen. I have a thing for linen as well. I love linen. It's nice and cool because where I live is really, really hot. Oh my God. So this one works well in my wardrobe, and I'm definitely going to be wearing this one to work. Now, I cut the view A and I cut a size 14 at the neckline. I graded it down myself because the package that I have actually goes up to, actually starts at a size 16 up to like a 24, 26, something like that. So I graded down the neckline to a size 14, and then I blended out to a 16 around the arm side, and then out to an 18 towards the waistline and the hip line. And then I went in and did a 1/2 inch full bust adjustment, which I had not done on any of my first 2 iterations. But your girl is wiser now. So I did take the time to do the full bust adjustment, and I made some other adjustments. I raised the waistline by a whole inch because I wanted the natural curve of this shirt dress to hit me at the smallest point of my waist. Now, you guys, some of you are not really keen on making fit adjustments. And even if you were not ready to venture into things like full bust adjustments, go ahead and adjust the lengths of your pattern. And I'm not just talking about at the hemline. Put your bust, your waist, and your hips from your pattern pieces to align with your body. Your bust might be higher or lower than what the pattern intends. Your waist might be lower or higher. Your hip line might also be so. And you will amaze yourself how big of a difference just those simple adjustments can make. Will it make for a perfect garment? More likely than not. You might discover that you need or could benefit from additional fit adjustments. But telling you, having your bust, waist, and hips where it's meant to be is life-changing. And it's simple and easy to do. So because this pattern has a natural curvature at the waistline, and then it sort of goes outwards to give you that hourglass shape. If I did not get my waistline in the right spot, I would have looked like I'm wearing a potato sack. And who likes that? I don't like that, especially if it's not like intentionally done. So I'm really glad that I made those adjustments. I also went ahead and did a 1/2 inch sloping shoulder adjustment because your girl has terrible posture. Nobody can use that against me because I know it for myself already. My posture sucks. So I do have to adjust the shoulder slope. And I also did a 1/4 inch sway back adjustment so that I don't end up with a pooling of fabric right here at my center back. Another very small but effective adjustment. And I just went ahead and did a 1/4 inch, you guys. A very small adjustment that has like the world of difference. Now, in addition to that, I told you already that I lengthened the hemline of my dress only by 1 inch because that is all the fabric that I had left. And I had to cut my sleeves on the crosswise grain. I really, really wanted to do the long sleeves, and that is the sleeve pattern that I prepared. And I actually did a 1 inch full bicep adjustment on my sleeve pattern, but I just could not get it cut out of the fabric that I had left. And so instead of doing tracing over the short sleeve and then having to do the full bicep adjustment, I just measured the length of the short sleeve and folded up my long sleeve piece to match, and then lengthened it by 1 inch on the fabric itself so that I can do a double turned 1 inch hem on my sleeve. I just feel like that adds a little bit more weight to my sleeve, and I find like it just allows my sleeve to lay really, really nicely. Now, the full bicep adjustment is a little bit more complicated than shortening or lengthening your pattern pieces, but it is another life-changing adjustment. Now, without it, my arms would have felt a little bit restricted. I might have got some pulling right here at the bust area where my sleeve would be borrowing or trying to borrow width from my center front piece. But the full bicep adjustment just gives me a little bit more ease along the fullest part of my arms, and it means I can like do chicken hands like this and move about freely without feeling like it's straining across my bicep and therefore across my back and across my center front. So if you ever feel like your shirts or whatever are straining across your center front and center back, you might actually need to do a full bicep adjustment. It might not be the center front or center back at all that's the problem. It might just be that your arms are borrowing fabric from your center front and center back. It's not always the case, but you might want to go ahead to take the time and check it out. Now, I feel like I have a full bicep adjustment tutorial here on the channel. In my mind's eye, I'm saying I did it. If I did, I'll go ahead and leave the link right here so you can run on over and get an idea of what this adjustment entails. Now, in terms of constructing the dress, I found it to be a fairly simple sew. I do have quite a bit of experience sewing shirts and shirt dresses. I do favor these. I like shirts and shirt dresses. And I actually went as far as sharing a full sewing tutorial of the Grainline Archer button-down shirt here on the channel. Now, there are 4 different parts to that sew-along series because it was just so much information that I wanted to share with you guys. I shared tips and tricks for dealing with your collars and your collar stands for those of you who find that tricky, for getting a really, really neat button placket, for doing the burrito method, all of the things that you can use when sewing up any shirt or shirt dress pattern. So even though it's not this pattern, and even though you're not working on the Grainline Archer button-down shirt, I feel like you can get so much value from that sew-along series. At least I'm hoping that you can, because I spent a lot of time videoing it and then editing it and then bringing it to you in a way that I thought would have been helpful. So if you have a spare moment, then be sure to go ahead and check them out. As I said, it's split up into 4 parts, so you can choose which area you want to zone in on. And then in each part, I have gone ahead and put the chapters. So you can literally skip to the part that you need help with. Working on a collar for a shirt dress, go check out how I did my collar. Working on a placket, need some help, check that out too. Dealing with those funny cuffs, there is also information on that. I feel like it's stellar. Can I say that about my work? I can, can't I? Anyway, you go check it out and be the judge and let me know in those videos if you found them to be as helpful as I think that they are. Anyways, back to the shirt dress. If I were rating this shirt dress, I would give this one like a 9 out of 10. Or maybe a 9.5 out of 10 because I feel like it's impeccable. There's nothing I don't like about it, except for the current state of my buttons, which I've already explained. And the only reason I'm not giving this a 10 is because I learned as a child that 10 is a very hard score to attain. There's always room for improvement. And so I'm always very reserved when I'm rating my makes because I know somebody somewhere can find something to complain about with what I made. So I'm going to go ahead and settle for a 9.5 out of 10 for this make. I love it. The inside, I just finished with my serger. The yoke, of course, I did with the burrito method, even if the pattern doesn't call for it. And I think this pattern might call for it. But even if it didn't, I would do the burrito method anyway, because I find it to be super, super neat. And the reason I didn't end up doing French seams on this pattern is because I wanted to put in my pockets. And I'm not quite sure yet how to French seam in pockets. And this is not the make that I wanted to use to find out, because I knew if I messed up my fabric, I wouldn't have enough. And this is gifted fabric, and I don't play when it comes to gifted fabric. I'm always more cautious with fabric that's gifted to me because somebody else dropped their coin, their hard-earned money buying fabric for me. And I feel like I need to respect that as much as I can. I don't always get it right. Clearly, I'm human. Sometimes things just really happen. But I try my best, so far as it's possible, when fabric has been gifted to me, to handle it nicely. So I'm really proud of this make, and I'm really hoping that my dad's friend will be super, super stoked when she sees me in my finished Simplicity 8014. Now, you guys, that is a success for make number 1 from So Lucky Jar 2024. 2025, gosh. 2025, Kristen, we are in 2025. Now, I am going to pull a second pattern from my jar, but I'm not going to do it today because I want you guys to keep coming back. So I am going to share with you soon here on the channel my second pick from my So Lucky Jar. Again, if you're not yet playing along, now is the perfect opportunity to join. And when I say no, I mean whenever you happen to be watching this video. It could be July for all I care. Go ahead and pick your patterns, put them in a nice jar, pull a pattern every month, every week, however often you like, and let's get moving our patterns from in our pattern stashes, catching dust, and transforming them into wearable garments. Now, if you enjoyed today's video and you like my dress, then be sure to go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Drop me some comments down below and let me know whether this is a pattern that you own, whether you have made it, whether now you have seen mine, whether you will contemplate making it. Let's have some conversation in the comment section. That is like one of the high points for me of posting my videos, is getting the comments. Usually you guys have me in stitches. Oh, why is it that every time I'm trying to record, there's a fly in my room? Do you have no manners? I'm trying to talk to my people. Stop interrupting me. Jesus. This is another downside to island living. Do I have nets on my windows? Yes. Yes, I do. Do the flies still miraculously appear inside my house? Yes. Yes, they do. So forgive me. Now, if you have listened to all of that ranting and you're not a part of my YouTube sewing family, let me just tell you, let's be honest with each other. You want to be here. Don't you? Of course you do. You made it this far in my video. So go ahead and let me help you. Click that subscribe button, turn your notification on, and be on the lookout for my upcoming videos. The next one, fingers crossed, I hope it's going to be the next one, will be my second pick from my So Lucky Jar 2025. So until then, you guys, stay calm, stay cool, stay safe, and absolutely keep sewing. Peace.